Wealth distribution in the United Kingdom. Disparities between white and black families. The wealth distribution between white and black families in the UK highlights significant socioeconomic disparities, reflecting broader inequalities in various sectors. The wealth gap is largely shaped by differences in homeownership rates, inheritance, investment participation, and employment, all of which are underpinned by historical inequities. These disparities persist due to ongoing systemic barriers related to financial access, employment opportunities, and education. For example, reports indicate that white British families possess more than 10 times the wealth of Black African and Black Caribbean families on average. Specifically, data from 2016 to 2018 revealed that the median total wealth of white British households was approximately £282,000, whereas Black African households had a median wealth of just £24,000. Black Caribbean families fared somewhat better, but their median wealth still remained significantly lower than that of white British households. According to the UK's Office for National Statistics, ONS Wealth and Assets Survey 2018 to 2020, and other reports, including those from the Runnymede Trust, The Color of Money 2020, and the Institute for Fiscal Studies, IFS, Ethnic Inequalities in Wealth 2021, and Resolution Foundation, Rainy Days 2019, the following key differences illustrate the depth of wealth inequality between ethnic groups in the UK. Key contributing factors. 1. Historical and structural racism. Historical discrimination, both institutional and societal, has long restricted access to opportunities for Black families. This has been particularly evident in housing, employment, and education, all critical avenues for wealth accumulation. The effects of discriminatory policies such as redlining, colonialism, and biased lending practices have contributed to the significant racial wealth gap that persists today. 2. Employment and income disparities. Black families in the UK experience higher rates of unemployment and are more frequently employed in lower wage sectors. According to the Office for National Statistics, ONS Ethnicity Pay Gap Report 2019, Black employees earned between 5% and 10% less than their white counterparts on average. Moreover, Black workers are overrepresented in insecure, lower-paying jobs, further hindering their ability to build wealth. 3. Employer-provided pensions. Many Black workers are disproportionately employed in jobs that offer limited or no access to employer-sponsored pension plans. This lack of access to robust pension schemes exacerbates long-term wealth disparities, as pension contributions and compounded returns are vital sources of wealth accumulation in the UK. Lower rates of automatic enrollment in pensions and other investment vehicles for Black workers limit their ability to accumulate savings and investments for retirement. 4. Homeownership and property wealth. Homeownership is one of the key drivers of wealth accumulation in the UK. However, white British families have significantly higher homeownership rates, around 68%, compared to Black Caribbean, 40%, and Black African, 20% households. As property values continue to rise, homeownership plays an increasingly important role in building wealth. Families who own homes in more affluent areas often experience faster property value appreciation, further widening the wealth gap between white and Black families. The lower rates of homeownership among Black families limit their ability to benefit from the substantial appreciation in property values over time. Consequently, white families experience a compounding effect in wealth accumulation through property ownership, which remains less accessible to Black communities due to systemic financial barriers and inequities in the housing market. 5. Inheritance. White British families are significantly more likely to receive substantial inheritances compared to Black families, which further exacerbates the wealth gap. Data shows that the average inheritance for white British families is approximately £110,000, while Black Caribbean families receive around £35,000 and Black African families just £15,000. These inheritances are often the result of generations of accumulated wealth built through opportunities historically denied to Black communities. This cycle of intergenerational wealth transfer perpetuates the economic disadvantage faced by Black families, reinforcing existing disparities. 6. Education and social capital. Although access to higher education has increased, Black families often do not experience the same returns on their educational investments as their white counterparts. Discriminatory practices in hiring and promotion continue to impede upward mobility for Black individuals, limiting career progression and earning potential. Furthermore, social networks, which are critical for career advancement and economic success, are frequently less accessible to Black families. This restricted access to professional networks further hinders opportunities for wealth building through higher income jobs and career development. 7. Housing and geographical concentration. Black families in the UK often reside in urban areas such as London, where property prices are notably high. However, despite the elevated cost of housing in these regions, access to affordable housing and well-paying employment opportunities remains limited. Even when Black families are able to purchase homes in these urban areas, the rate of property value appreciation may lag behind that of homes owned by white families in less diverse, more affluent neighborhoods. This disparity in property value growth further constrains wealth accumulation through real estate investment, reinforcing the broader wealth inequality. 8. Investment and financial literacy. Investment is a critical factor in long-term wealth accumulation, yet Black families in the UK face significant barriers to participation. Lower levels of financial literacy, often a result of historical exclusion and systemic disadvantages, limit access to financial services and investment opportunities. Research indicates that Black families are less likely to receive financial advice or engage with capital markets, resulting in lower participation in key investment vehicles such as pensions, stocks, and bonds. Many Black families are also less aware of or less likely to utilize tax-efficient savings options like individual savings accounts, ISAs, which were introduced by the government to promote savings and investment. ISAs provide a tax-free environment for savings, enabling individuals to grow wealth without being taxed on interest, capital gains, or dividends. However, Black African 10% and Black Caribbean 15% families participate in investment markets at significantly lower rates compared to white British families, 40%. Additionally, economic uncertainty and lower disposable income contribute to higher levels of financial risk aversion within Black communities. A lack of trust in financial institutions, often rooted in a history of discriminatory practices, further discourages investment, limiting the potential for wealth accumulation and perpetuating the wealth gap. 9. Business ownership. Entrepreneurship represents a key pathway to wealth generation, yet white British families are significantly more likely to own businesses compared to Black African and Black Caribbean families. Despite strong entrepreneurial ambitions within Black communities, systemic barriers such as limited access to financing, mentorship, and essential resources hinder their ability to establish and scale successful businesses. These challenges restrict the potential for wealth accumulation through business ownership and investment in entrepreneurial ventures, further contributing to the broader wealth disparity. To ensure that Black families fully benefit from government initiatives, targeted efforts are needed to develop financial literacy programs that specifically address the unique needs and challenges faced by minority groups. Furthermore, policies and financial products must be designed to be more inclusive and actively promoted within underrepresented communities, ensuring equitable access to wealth-building opportunities. These measures are essential for fostering greater economic participation and closing the wealth gap. Conclusion: The wealth disparity between white and black families in the UK arises from a multifaceted combination of historical, structural, and systemic factors. Key contributors include employment discrimination, disparities in homeownership, the unequal transfer of intergenerational wealth, and limited access to investment opportunities. This enduring divide is perpetuated by long-standing barriers that prevent equitable economic participation. Addressing these inequalities requires comprehensive structural reforms. These reforms must focus on improving access to financial services, increasing investment in education and the development of social capital, and ensuring fair opportunities in housing and employment. Moreover, policies and financial products must be made more inclusive and actively promoted to underrepresented communities to facilitate equitable access to wealth-building tools. While financial literacy initiatives and increased awareness are important steps toward narrowing the gap, sustainable progress will only be achieved by addressing the root causes, systemic and institutional factors that continue to perpetuate wealth inequality. Lasting solutions must involve a concerted effort to dismantle these barriers and promote true economic inclusion. If you made it this far, drop a 100% in the comments, hit that subscribe button, and like this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.